Welcome to Duo Reads, where we decode deep ideas and break down big books one page at a time. Today, we're taking a look at a truly eye-opening book that really challenged many common assumptions about success and financial independence. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko.
Yeah, it's a classic. Our mission here is really to pull out the most important insights from this book. What does it actually mean to be wealthy in America? And, how can ordinary people really get there? You might be quite surprised by what they found.
Oh, I certainly was. I mean, when you think millionaire, what images pop into your head? For most people, it's probably like luxury cars, designer clothes,
Yeah.
huge mansions, or
Exactly. Flashy stuff.
But what this book reveals is just a dramatically different picture, and it fundamentally reshapes how we should think about building wealth. So let's unpack this central idea straight away. The authors, they immediately hit us with this really powerful distinction. Wealth is not the same as income.
Right. That's key.
If you make a great living, but you spend every single penny, you're not actually getting wealthier. You're just living high.
Living large. Yeah.
Wealth, they make clear, is what you accumulate. It's what you manage to keep.
And this is where that popular image, really starts to crumble. They found that becoming wealthy, well, it's rarely about just luck or inheriting a fortune.
Or having some fancy degree.
Or even being like super intelligent. Nope. Instead, it's almost always a consistent result of a specific lifestyle. One built on hard work, perseverance, careful planning, and maybe above all, self-discipline.
Self-discipline, yeah.
The big takeaway is that wealth isn't just for the privileged or geniuses. It's really a set of habits anyone can learn if they commit.
That's such a critical point. And they really drive it home with this simple formula they have for expected net worth, which, just to be clear, is basically what you own minus what you owe.
Simple as that.
So they give this example. Charles Bobbins, a 41-year-old fireman, his wife's a secretary. Combined income, about $55,000. Now, based on the formula, he should have around $225,500. But guess what? He's worth way more.
Way more.
Enough that he could stop working for 10 years.
10 years, wow.
Now, contrast that with, say, Dr. John J. Ashton. He's 56, physician, earning $560,000 a year. Huge income.
Right. Should be loaded.
Exactly. He's expected to be worth over $3 million. But he only has $1.1 million. He can only last maybe 2 or 3 years without that income. It really proves their point. It's about what you keep, not just what you make.
And what's really fascinating is that 80%, think about that, 80% of America's millionaires are first-generation rich.
They built it themselves.
They built it themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
The typical profile isn't that high-flying CEO on magazine covers. It's often like a self-employed business owner, maybe a welding contractor or someone who owns a mobile home park, probably lived in the same town most of his adult life, married just once, and is just a compulsive saver and investor.
Compulsive saver.
These are kind of the unsung financial heroes.
That totally shatters the stereotype, doesn't it?
Completely.
So if they're not the CEOs in designer suits, what do these millionaires actually own? What do their houses look like? Their cars?
Well, the book really hammers this home. Most people have it all wrong about what millionaires buy. Their surveys showed the vast majority. They never spent even a tenth of $5,000 on a watch.
Get out. Really?
Yeah. Or think about suits. The typical American millionaire never spent more than $399 on a suit.
Okay, so who is buying those $1,000 plus suits then?
Often it's the high-income earners who aren't millionaires yet, like corporate middle managers or maybe attorneys.
Ah, keeping up appearances.
Exactly. They're spending future wealth on today's display.
And cars must be another one.
Oh, cars are a classic example. Only a small minority of millionaires drive foreign luxury cars or the current year's model. Most don't even lease them.
Wow.
And get this, credit cards. Wealthy households are apparently 4 times more likely to hold a Sears card than a Brooks Brothers card.
Sears.
And they prefer pennies over those high-status retailers. It tells you so much about their priorities, right?
Utility and value over status and flash.
Always.
It's a really powerful, kind of surprising picture of who America's millionaires aren't. So, okay, the obvious next question is, if they're not who we think, how do they build this incredible wealth? The book really dives into this, and they outline, 7 key habits they saw again and again?
Yeah, 7 common denominators. And the first one, arguably the most important, is simply living well below their means.
Frugality.
Frugality. It isn't just some quaint idea. It's the absolute cornerstone of building wealth. Not flashy spending. They talk about a guy, Johnny Lucas. net worth over $2 million.
Okay.
But his neighbors, they just see him as totally nondescript. Average guy.
No Lambo in the driveway?
No Lambo. He has no mortgage. His kid's college is fully funded. He's just not living to impress anyone.
So that ties directly into budgeting, I guess.
Absolutely.
Most millionaires, the book found, are meticulous budgeters, like 120 budgeters for every 100 non-budgeters. That seems almost counterintuitive, doesn't it? If you have so much money, why track every penny?
That's a great question, because it's not just about getting rich, right? It's about staying rich. Nearly 2/3 of them know exactly how much their family spends each year on essentials, food, clothing, shelter.
2/3. Wow.
Compare that to high-income non-millionaires. Only about 35% know those figures.
Big difference.
Huge. They use the example of Mrs. Rule. She's a millionaire auctioneer, average income around $90,000, but her net worth is over $2 million.
Wow.
Because she played tremendous defense, as they put it. Meticulously budgeting, cutting coupons. She got it. You become a millionaire by budgeting and controlling expenses, and you maintain that status the exact same way.
Like fitness.
Exactly like physical fitness. The people who look fit are the ones who consistently jog, right? They don't just stop once they get in shape.
Makes sense. And what about those millionaires who don't follow a strict budget? Is there another way?
Yeah, the book points out they often create what you might call artificial scarcity for themselves. Over half of them invest at least 15% of their annual realized income before they spend anything else.
Ah, the pay yourself first strategy.
But seriously applied. It's an intentional choice to prioritize saving, even if they're not tracking every single coffee.
How many of us really do that, though? 15% off the top before anything else.
Not many, I suspect. And this highlights a fundamental choice, that the book often contrasts with our instant gratification culture. Remember those old quiz shows? Contestants always wanted the new car or the boat now.
Yeah, never the scholarship.
Right. Not the tuition scholarship for the future. It's that choice. A camper van today, or maybe a college degree that's worth more than a dozen vans down the road.
Delayed gratification. Seeing the long-term value.
Exactly.
Okay, so beyond just the money itself, millionaires are also incredibly intentional about their time and energy. The authors classify them, right? PAWs and UAWs.
Yep. Prodigious accumulators of wealth, PAWs, and underaccumulators of wealth, UAWs. And the PAWs, they spend nearly twice the number of hours each month actually planning their financial investments compared to the UAWs.
Twice the time. That's significant.
It's a major commitment, and it clearly pays off. They illustrate this so powerfully with Dr. South and Dr. North. Both surgeons, 50s, similar high incomes, over $700,000.
Okay.
Dr. South, the UAW, spends a lot, invests very little, and worries constantly about maintaining his standard of living. Sounds familiar?
Stressful.
Dr. North, the PAW, invests nearly 40% of his pre-tax income. He consumes at a level typical of a family earning maybe a third as much as him.
40%.
Yeah, and guess what? He has far fewer financial worries. It just shows the huge impact of that intentional allocation of both time and money.
Okay, now this next finding really threw me. For high-income earners, the book suggests a negative correlation between graduate degrees and wealth accumulation. How does that even work? More education means less wealth.
It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But the explanation is that doctors, lawyers, people with advanced degrees, they often get a very late start in the earnings race.
Years in school.
Exactly. Years spent studying instead of earning and accumulating. They compare Mr. Denzi, a business owner with just some college. He accumulated 5 or 6 times the wealth of a Dr. Dokes, who was a valedictorian with the same income level.
Just because he started earlier?
Because he started earning and investing much, much earlier.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder, time in the market often beats time in the market.
Right. So speaking of intentional allocation, let's circle back to cars for a second. We know they typically don't drive flashy new ones, so what are their actual car buying habits?
Well, the contrast is pretty stark. The UAWs, like Dr. South, they spend lavishly on new luxury cars, chasing prestige. Remember Dr. South? He bought a $70,000 Porsche one year, spent 60 hours finding the best deal.
60 hours?
Yeah, while only putting like $5,700 into his pension that year.
Ouch. Priorities.
Exactly.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the PAWs, like Dr. North, they drive cars for utility. They often keep them for years, or they buy slightly used. They effectively let someone else take the big hit from depreciation.
So the everyday millionaire mindset is really value over flash.
Always.
It's almost funny, but the book points out that UAWs often end up basically subsidizing the PAWs without realizing it.
How so?
Well, think of Gary, the high-income spender. He buys that brand new foreign luxury car, takes the massive depreciation hit right away.
Okay.
Then, when he sells it after a few years, it becomes affordable for a frugal millionaire, like their Dr. Bill example, to swoop in and buy that slightly used BMW for way less.
Ah, I see. Gary consumes for pleasure. Dr. Bill accumulates wealth.
Precisely.
And what's interesting here, too, is that many paws are self-employed.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. Why is that so common?
It seems to give them significantly more control over their economic future, unlike employees who are often just too busy. Or maybe they lack the ability to just write investment planning into their own job description.
Ah,
Self-employed folks often integrate wealth building right into their work lives. They actually see working for others as potentially more risky.
more risky. Why?
Well, things like downsizing, corporate politics, lack of control.
Makes sense. Okay, so if you're building wealth, you probably need advisors. How do millionaires choose them? Most people probably just respond to a cold call or go with a friend's recommendation.
Right, but the book suggests a very different approach.
Yeah.
Treat them like you're hiring an employee or picking a key supplier for your household.
So what does that look like practically? Due diligence.
Serious due diligence.
Yeah.
They mention a Mr. Martin, a millionaire, who asks potential advisors for copies of the personal income tax returns and their own portfolio history.
Wow, really?
Yep, and if they won't provide it, he just assumes they're, in his words, full of baloney.
Huh.
It highlights how critical it is to properly vet advisors. And having a good CPA to help you find truly qualified people is key. It's a business decision, not just picking someone you like. Okay, this next point is a really big one. It's called Economic Outpatient Care, or EOC.
Economic outpatient care, what's that?
It refers to those substantial economic gifts and acts of kindness that some parents give their adult children and grandkids.
Oh, okay. Helping them out.
Exactly. And while it's almost always well-intentioned, the authors found something pretty stark. Parents who provide heavy EOC, they tend to have significantly less wealth themselves. And, crucially, the more dollars adult children receive, the fewer dollars they accumulate on their own.
Wait, so giving your kids money makes them accumulate less. Why?
It seemed to create a kind of financial fantasy land. They give the example of Lamar and Mary. Their earned income is $60,000 a year, but they live in a $300,000 house, maintain this upper-middle-class lifestyle.
On $60. How?
All thanks to Mary's mother. She subsidizes their mortgage, gives them forgiveness loans, hands over $15,000 in cash every year for over 25 years.
Whoa.
So Lamar and Mary are just consumed by consumption, basically waiting for the next dose of EOC. They never build their own independence.
They're not learning to stand on their own feet.
Precisely. And a key finding here is what they call the montage effect. Gift receivers often stop distinguishing between their own wealth and their parents' wealth. They start viewing their parents' capital almost like it's their own income, just there to be spent.
So they feel richer than they are.
Exactly. Which leads to more spending, heavy reliance on credit, all in anticipation of the next gift or the future inheritance. It becomes this really damaging cycle of dependency.
You can see this so clearly when they compare the brothers, Henry and Josh. Henry's a high school math teacher, earns $71,000 a year. His net worth, $834,000.
Pretty good for a teacher.
Right. Now, his brother Josh is an attorney, earns $123,000. Much higher income. His net worth, only $553,000.
Less than the teacher.
Because Henry lives below his means. Josh, despite his higher income, relies on a $10,000 annual gift from his parents. He plays the part of someone much wealthier than he is, drives the fancy cars, lives in the prestigious neighborhood he can't really afford on his own dime.
Ah, the EOC trap again.
Exactly.
Now, they do make it clear that not all EOC is bad. Subsidizing education, for instance, is often seen positively. It's like teaching your children how to fish.
Right, investing in their skills.
Yeah. Many self-made millionaires prefer to give their kids things like private stock in the family business or help them start their own business, not just handing over cash for consumption. Think Paul Orfalea, the founder of Kinko's.
Kinko's, yeah.
He started that huge business with a $5,000 loan co-signed by his father. He was enabling support, not just a handout.
It's about fostering self-sufficiency, not dependency.
That's the key difference.
And Laura's story in the book is just incredibly powerful on this. After her husband left her with 3 small kids,
Oh, wow.
she refused point blank to ask her well-to-do parents for financial support.
Really? Even then?
Even then, instead, driven by what she called sheer necessity, she became this highly successful real estate executive. Her message was basically, it's amazing what you can do when you set your mind to it. You'll be surprised how many sales calls you can make when you have no alternative except to succeed.
Wow. That really emphasizes it. True independence, true self-sufficiency. It's often forged when there just isn't another option.
Powerful stuff.
So, okay, if the wealthy are so frugal in their personal spending, where do they actually spend money? And what does that mean for people looking for business opportunities or maybe professionals trying to serve this market?
Good question.
The book highlights they are not price sensitive when it comes to things like quality investment advice, accounting, tax help, legal services, also medical and dental care, education for their kids, and even their homes. They'll pay for quality in those areas.
Makes sense. Value again?
And they're also major consumers of industrial products and services for their businesses and things for their children and grandchildren. So that signals some clear market opportunities.
Yeah, the authors projected huge growth in those areas. Like, just between 1996 and 2005, they estimated attorneys' fees just from settling millionaire estates would be over $17 billion.
Billion, with a B.
Yeah. So estate attorneys, tax attorneys, even immigration lawyers helping affluent foreigners move capital, all in high demand. And beyond legal. Think about, like, cosmetic medical specialists, private schools, maybe travel agents catering to affluent families vacationing together. It's about serving their actual needs and priorities.
And it's often not the glamorous industries either. Millionaires frequently own businesses in what the authors call dull normal sectors.
Dull normal. Like what?
Wallboard manufacturing, mobile home dealerships, pest control, even coin and stamp dealers.
Huh. Okay, definitely not sexy.
Right. But these industries often don't attract tons of competition precisely because they aren't sexy, and the demand tends to be pretty stable, not subject to wild swings.
So they provide consistent, often high profits, allows wealth to be built steadily, quietly.
Exactly, under the radar.
Another key takeaway, circling back slightly, is that wealthy parents often encourage their kids to become self-employed professionals, like doctors, attorneys, engineers, accountants, dentists. Why specifically those?
Well, while the absolute income might not always reach the heights of some business owners, the profitability of these professional practices is consistently higher than the average small business. And as one millionaire in the book put it, they can take your business, but they can't take your intellect.
Ah, your skills are portable and valuable.
Highly valuable and portable.
Okay, this leads to a really fascinating, maybe even crucial insight for wealth building.
Millionaires are apparently masters at minimizing their realized income. That's their taxable income.
Masters, how do they manage that?
We'll think of Ross Perot, billions in net worth, right? In 1 year cited, he paid only 0.8% of his wealth in income tax. Compare that to the typical American household paying around 11.6% of their net worth in tax.
0.8% versus 11.6%. That's staggering.
It is. They do it by investing strategically. Things like tax-free municipal bonds, tax-sheltered real estate, holding stocks long-term so the gains are unrealized.
So the wealth compounds without being chipped away by taxes every year.
Exactly. It stays invested and growing rather than being constantly eaten away by the taxman.
Yeah.
It's a huge advantage.
So wrapping this all up, what does it really mean for you listening right now? The picture of wealth we get from the Millionaire Next Door. It's really not about inherited fortunes or those super high-profile jobs.
Not at all.
It's about a disciplined lifestyle. Frugality, intentional saving, strategic investing, and really focusing on accumulation over consumption.
Yeah, it really boils down to playing great defense with your money, as they say. They became millionaires by budgeting and controlling expenses, and crucially, they maintain their affluent status the exact same way.
Right.
It drives home that it's not nearly as much about how much you earn, but really how much you keep and how wisely you allocate it.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Consider the profound impact our everyday consumption choices have on our long-term financial freedom. Are your spending habits actually building a future of independence? Or are they maybe unknowingly keeping you on a treadmill, just chasing the next paycheck to support a lifestyle you can't truly sustain?
And that EOC point, are you truly teaching the next generation to fish, Or are you, maybe, however well-intentioned, actually cultivating a cycle of dependency that could hinder their own ability to build wealth? This exploration, it really challenges us all to reevaluate our definitions of success and how we go about pursuing them, both for ourselves and maybe for those who come after us.
Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey into the true habits of America's wealthy. We hope this has given you plenty to think about and maybe even apply to your own financial life.